My name's Mason Turner, and my dream is to become the best soccer player in the world. But right now, I'm just a kid. I have a long way to go if I even want to be a professional at all. I know I have what it takes though, and I'm not alone. I live in New York City with my best friend, Jalen Davis, and we're the two best kids in the neighborhood. We play every day in the streets outside our houses, and it's clear we have a lot of talent, and we dream that someday we can go pro together and maybe even play for our favorite club, Chelsea. It's just a dream, but we are really good, and it pays off as we get noticed by a local scout one day who invites us to try out for New York City FC's academy. So suddenly, we're off to tryouts with the chance at making it pro, and it starts really well as Jalen makes a great impact, standing out among the other kids with his big physical presence. But me? Well, I don't have a very good showing. I'm a lot smaller than the other kids, and I spend too much time getting pushed around to show off my passing skills. I'm not given a spot in the team, and it means my dreams of going pro are crushed. But even worse, I'm separated from my best friend as Jalen Davis heads off to New York City FC's academy, and I'm left behind. Now, I may have missed out on the academy team, but this is not the end of my story. As I head off to high school, there's another route to making it to the MLS. If I can play well here in high school and then make it to a Division I college, I'll have a shot at the MLS Super Draft, where the best college players get drafted to go pro. It's not an easy road, but I know I have what it takes. I have something special that sets me apart. My long ball passing skill that I practiced with Jalen for so many years, and here in high school, that is very unique. I lead the varsity team in my freshman year, showing off this good passing technique that went missed by New York City FC. I'm immediately our best player in just my first season, picking up almost an assist every single game for my first season. And throughout the rest of high school, it's more of the same. I make the All-State team my second year, and I'm starting to get a really good reputation here in the high school system. I'm growing up, both physically and technically, as I guide us to the New York State Championship in my final years of high school. My path to the MLS Super Draft is well and truly alive. As it's announced, I'm heading off to Stanford University, one step closer to the MLS, and now all I have to do is have a good season here to get one more shot at the MLS Super Draft. And while I'm still trying to make it pro, Jalen Davis is taking off, quickly moving from the academy into the New York City FC first team, making his debut at 17 and growing into one of the hottest prospects in the MLS. And although we're far apart physically, we stay in close contact. We're still good friends, and I'm so happy to see him doing well. But if I actually want to join Jalen Davis in the MLS, I have to have a great season here in college, and I know I have to be a more well-rounded player. So I work on converting my passing technique into shooting and become a complete attacking threat. I'm the type of player that always wants to grow and learn, and I add power shooting to my arsenal as I prove to be a really good player here in college. I'm assisting, I'm scoring, and even in my freshman year, I'm one of the best around. And with everything looking up now, it's looking likely I might get a chance at the MLS. The biggest thing right now is finishing strong and making sure we can win it all here late in the season as we go to the NCAA Division I final. Everyone's watching. This has to be my moment.
Stanford are trying to get back into the game here in the second half. There's a bit of skill there from Mason Turner in midfield. He shoots, and it's an incredible goal from way out! I can't believe what we've just seen! Stanford University are back in this game, and it's all thanks to their captain. Talk about a big moment. This guy could be the real deal. And with the MLS Super Draft coming up, Mason Turner might have just put himself on the radar of the teams who we know will be watching this game.
Well, I think I made my case, scoring the goal that won Stanford the championship. But was this enough to get drafted to the MLS?
Today, the best soccer players in the country await their fate as childhood dreams come true. It's the MLS Super Draft, and up next in round one, it's Austin FC.
In the first round of this year's MLS Super Draft, Austin FC selects from Stanford University, Mason Turner.
Well, I'm not surprised at all. This kid looks like he could be really special. I mean, you really don't have to look any further than his insane goal in the final a few weeks ago.
But I think if you look at his passing and shooting range, there's a real quality player in there. And Austin FC might be the place to help him show that at a professional level.
I finally reached my goal of becoming a professional, and although I'm not with Jalen, my dream is still for us to play together someday. But here, I've got my work cut out for me. Austin FC are easily the worst team in the MLS right now, and I'm the lowest rated player at the club. If I even want a chance to play, I need to find a way to stand out. But thankfully, there's a clean slate. We have a new manager to impress. Promising German coach Marcel Hoffmann has just signed to the club, and he comes in with a bold vision to get this club playing a revolutionary tiki-taka style, which isn't seen much in the MLS, let alone at the worst team in the league. But he insists it'll work, and as we get to training, I do well, showing my passing range. This is what the coach wants. But I've got a lot of competition, as our other young central midfielder, Christian Fraser, aims to fight for a spot as well. And as a bit of a hot-headed player, he targets me with some tough tackles. It looks like I've got an enemy already, as we're both trying to win the attention of the new manager. But Austin FC are not off to a good start under Hoffmann, who has a really bold vision. We lose several of our first games, and the manager is already coming under fire. So with a break in league action, this is a chance for the manager to try something new, and he starts several youth players as I'm on the bench. However, my rival Christian Fraser is in the starting 11, and I'm on the sidelines waiting for my opportunity. But I might not have to wait long, as Christian Fraser struggles in midfield and loses his temper, picking up a yellow card. He's quickly lost the manager's trust, and I am being given the chance instead. As I come off the bench, I finally make my professional debut. It's time to show the world what I've got.
Austin FC still in search of a goal here. Mason Turner picks the ball up, shoots, and scores! It's an incredible debut goal from young Mason Turner as Austin FC win their first game of the season.
It's a man of the match performance in my first ever professional game. The future's bright, and just like I always supported my friend, Jalen Davis is there for me.
Congrats on your debut, bro. You did great. I'm happy to see you doing well. But don't forget our dream. One of these days, we're going to play together on the same team.
Maybe someday I can play with Jalen, but for now I'm here at Austin and still looking for more minutes. But immediately, the manager puts his trust in me after that performance.
You're doing great, Mason. I really think you can be the solution for us to start winning games. I'm going to have you start in our next match. I believe in you. Don't let me down, son.
So I start my first ever game here in the MLS, trying to help Austin FC get another victory, and I pick up an assist. It's a great start to life. But Austin FC has a lot of work to do as we're still losing games. The manager's coming under a lot of pressure, but he's defending me to the media.
Why don't we focus on the positives, like Mason Turner? This kid has come in and been perfect so far. We'll start getting results once the rest of the team can play like Mason.
Well, surprisingly, I've won the full trust of the manager quickly, and it's showing as my confidence on the pitch is resulting in a lot of goal contributions. But no matter how well I play, the team overall is really just struggling with these tactics. It seems like we don't have the players to pull it off, and the results have not been good at all. So with the manager's job on the line, we head off to New York City FC, where I will face off against my best friend, Jalen Davis.
Hey, Mason. Good luck out there, bro. Hey, maybe next time we're out here, we can be on the same team.
Now, it's all smiles between me and Jalen personally, but he is absolutely ruthless on the pitch, showing why he's one of the best young strikers, not only in the league, but maybe in the world, as he dismantles Austin FC, and another loss means bad things for our club.
Breaking news for Austin FC as head coach Marcel Hoffmann is sacked following the team's loss to New York City FC. And the question on everyone's mind is, what comes next for the last place team in the MLS?
It's devastating as I lose the manager that put his trust in me, and Jalen feels really bad.
Sorry it had to be like that, bro. But it's great to see you again. Next time we see each other, I hope we'll be on the same team.
But after Hoffmann leaves the club, things change dramatically for me. We get a brand new manager in, Bradley Burke, an American who has a really strong defensive system. He completely changes things up, and it means I am back out of the starting 11. I'm gonna need to find a way to fight my way back. As the team actually turns our results around and starts winning under the new manager, it seems like they don't really need me. The truth is, as a small and technical player, I fit Hoffman's system well, but I just don't have space in a system here under Bradley Burke as we keep winning with me on the bench. Suddenly, I've gone from a promising player to an outcast, and when I try to talk to the manager, he makes it clear I'm not in his plans. Well, it's tough to have to leave the club already, but maybe this is a good chance to reunite with Jalen. He's their star player and actually convinces the manager to bring me in order to keep him happy.
My manager said you could come play for us, bro. You should go and talk to him. You've got to come here so we can finally play together.
So I return home to New York City to make this dream come true, but it's bad news.
Jalen asked if we could sign you, and I want to keep him happy. But we have a strong midfield, and I can't promise you many minutes unless you grow more. I'm willing to sign you if you don't expect playing time. It's up to you.
Well, it's clear I won't be getting any more minutes here in New York. I could technically be with Jalen, but we're not going to share a pitch together. It's a brutal decision, but I let Jalen know I'm turning the offer down.
How can you do this to me, bro? I fought to get you here, and you just turned it down? I thought you valued our friendship more than that.
Our friendship's broken apart, and on top of that, the truth is I don't have many other clubs lining up for my signature. In fact, the only offer I get is from a second division side here in the USA. Was it a big mistake to pass up the New York City FC offer? So it's official, I'm joining Loudoun United on loan, but my confidence has plummeted. Do I really have what it takes to go back to the MLS next season? Well, it's pretty clear right away. Despite losing my spot at Austin, I'm still a really good player. I'm showing off the unique passing and shooting skills that got me here in the first place, and to great effect. I'm quickly getting recognized as a top talent. At only 19, I'm already head and shoulders above a lot of the players here in the second division, and as I finally get consistent minutes down here, I'm growing a lot. I lead Loudoun United to go on to win a playoff spot, and then, against all the odds, we managed to end my first season of professional soccer with a trophy. Now, it might not be the MLS, but this was a massive season for me, as I prove I do have what it takes to go back and play at a higher level by dominating this competition. Maybe my dream of being the best in the world can still come true, but I'm given a harsh reality check. Even though I believe in myself, the new Austin FC manager doesn't. I still don't have a spot in his plans for next season. It's another rejection, so I'm back in search of a new club this summer, but as an unproven player, am I even gonna have any offers? Well, right now, there's a big club in need of help. Fallen giants Schalke are fighting for their lives in Germany's second division, sitting in a relegation spot that could cause a complete collapse of the club. And they announce a major appointment. Marcel Hoffmann, my old manager, is named as the new head coach, and to say that's an unpopular decision is an understatement.
Schalke bringing in Hoffmann doesn't make any sense to me. This guy just got sacked at Austin FC and they're expecting him to save the club from relegation?
Yeah, I have some serious questions about how the ownership is running this club, and I just don't see how this works out.
So with the world against him, Marcel Hoffmann turns to an unlikely solution. Me, the only player who he was able to get the best of at Austin, and with a starting role on the line for a former European club, it's not even a decision. I'm making the move to join Marcel Hoffmann's project in Germany, leaving behind my life in the US, but after losing contact with Jalen, I have to make a name for myself. However, it's against the odds because much like the manager, my signing as an unknown player is met with a lot of criticism.
Boys, who is Mason? Mason Turner? I've not heard of him before, ever.
Everyone is doubting my signing. Even my teammates are complaining about a lack of bigger transfers, and the only one who believes in me right now is the manager, as he defends me to the media.
Well, the fans are certainly not happy, Marcel. Why has the club not made any big signings?
Our finances are not good right now, but I promise you, Mason Turner is not a budget signing. This kid was my first choice, and he's going to be world class. Trust in my team, and trust in Mason Turner.
Well, Hoffmann makes the bold decision to start me right away, and although it's met with criticism, I answer that immediately, scoring on my debut, and with a valuable point in Hoffmann's first game in charge, it's a sign that maybe the manager and me can prove that everyone's been wrong about us. And sure enough, as Hoffman's tactics start to settle in, the kind of possession play he couldn't pull off at Austin FC is actually working here in Germany. The team's playing beautifully, and I am at the forefront of everything as our main attacking threat, and just like at Austin, Hoffman is getting the best out of me. A few good results, and suddenly it looks like we actually could avoid relegation. And I've taken a huge step up this season. With more than a goal contribution a game, I'm turning into a genuine star player. The only downside is I'm playing a lot and I'm not exactly used to getting this many minutes. And I pay the price as I pull my hamstring in the next match. It's terrible timing. I had just won over the fans and was on the rise, but it all comes to a halt now as I'm gonna be out for a while. And without me, Schalke look rough. Hoffman's possession style requires players with good vision, and it's clear that outside of me, the club doesn't have a lot of that. We quickly fall back into relegation territory, and as I come back into the team, there's only one game remaining in this season. We need a win to guarantee safety. Can I help the team survive, or is it all gonna fall apart here in my first season?
Is it going to be another failed season for Hoffman? Schalke need a winner to guarantee safety. Good play building up here, though. Mason Turner, top of the box, it's a shot! And what a spectacular goal! Mason Turner scores, and Schalke are staying up for sure now. He's only just come back, but the young American's proven a lot of people wrong this season.
Well, what an amazing year. Marcel Hoffman and I have showed together what we are truly capable of. But I'm sad that I've completely lost touch with my best friend, Jalen Davis. I always dreamed that we'd be here together, but right now, I'm enjoying the success alone as I've become the star player here for Schalke. But behind a great first season for myself and the manager, there's a dark side to Schalke. The club are in huge debt right now, and the truth is, we could be forced to sell some of our best players if we don't get promoted back to the Bundesliga soon. So it seems impossible, but the goal is clear this season. Push for promotion or face the consequences. But it seems like we have a coach that really knows what he's doing. He's struggled to get these tactics across at Austin, but it's working really well already at Schalke, as we're playing beautiful possession football, and in the blink of an eye, we've gone from a relegation side to actually pushing for promotion. It's becoming clear that a lot of people were underrating the coach that's now dragged us into the fight for a promotion spot. And once again, I'm the player benefiting the most here, leading the league in assists and proving I am a special talent. If we can somehow make it to the Bundesliga, I can get the opportunity to show that off in one of the biggest leagues in the world. And right now, it's very much possible. Only one game stands between us and the top division now. Can Marcel Hoffman prove that everyone was wrong about his appointment and my signing by getting us there? Well, unfortunately, not everything is a fairy tale, and despite a great season, Schalke can't get it done in our final match of the season, and it means we're not getting promoted. This could be catastrophic for a team with such huge financial issues. Schalke's debt continues to grow massively, and it means they're gonna have to take action here in the window by selling our most valuable players. And right now, I am top of that list as our star player, and the unthinkable happens as I'm transfer listed. Everything was just starting to work for me. I had a manager that trusted me. I won over the fans and my teammates and was finally starting to feel at home for the first time in my career. And now it's all gone. The club have forced me out, and this summer, I'm gonna be on the move again. What is gonna happen next? But there's a lot of clubs in need this summer, and among them is Leicester City, who have just been relegated back to the Championship and brought in Graham Potter, and it's expected they'll go back up to the Premier League fast. And maybe I could be a part of that. After my heroics at Schalke, I'm definitely one of their top targets. So even though it's not a move that I or the manager wanted, Marcel Hoffman puts his stamp of approval on this move, and I'm off to England in the blink of an eye for a new opportunity. It's a big move for me and a chance to maybe get a shot at the top flight of England. But the sad part again is I have nobody to share this news with. I still am not in talks with Jalen. As I start training here in England, I'm again in a new country without any familiar faces. And I'm basically starting from scratch in a new club in a new country. I'm gonna have to prove why I deserve minutes as I start on the bench. Leicester City get off to a great start. It's clear we're maybe the favorite team in the league right now, and when I am given a chance, I'm far from impressing. The physicality here is so much higher than I'm used to, and that's been my weakness my whole career. If I want to cut it here in England, I need to find a way to work on my physicality. So just like I've had to do before, I'm gonna have to adapt, and right now, that means putting in the hard work, staying late in training to try to get myself as physically fit as possible. Now it's slow progress, but I'm pushing my body to the limits, and I'm gonna try to make the most of what I've got. So as the months go on, I just wait for a second shot in the team, and it finally comes. Coming on as a substitute, I show that all the training worked as I'm able to keep up with the pace here in England and work harder than anybody else out here. The training I did to get my stamina up is actually allowing my technical abilities to shine as I'm getting in the right areas and finally proving what I can do, picking up my first assist for Leicester City. And off the back of that performance, I'm getting known here as a bit of a super sub for Leicester City. I might not be in the starting 11 most weeks, but coming off the bench and playing a big role in some important matches for us, I'm showing glimpses of what I did at Schalke, and I'm hoping that I can slowly grow into a more important role in this side. I'm still young, and I have a lot of growing to do. But playing for the best team in the division means I'm gonna have to be even better if I wanna be a starter, so my motivation is at an all-time high, and I continue to outwork everybody, staying late in training and pushing myself to the absolute limits to make sure that I can adapt here in England. And after months of work, I finally get my chance at the starting 11. Well, after all my hard work this season, it has finally paid off. I'm starting a game here for Leicester City, and the pressure's on big time for me to perform. I'm not worried though. I know that I have the skills. I just need to actually put them into practice here. And now that I'm more physically fit, I'm able to glide through midfield and score a hugely important goal that puts Leicester City in front. I have just made a big impact, and the future is looking bright. It seems like for the first time in a while, things might be going my way again. That is until, for the second time, I feel my hamstring go. The same injury that kept me out at Schalke has come back. It's a warning sign that I'm becoming a bit injury prone, and I have to be careful about managing my minutes going forwards. So I watch on as Leicester City finish the season by topping the league, which means we're getting promoted and going to the Premier League. But this could spell trouble for me. I was only a rotation player even before the injury, so I'm gonna start the season pretty far out of favor. Can I come back from this and prove that I can cut it in the best league in the world? Or am I gonna find myself on the move again this summer? And it's not just club football I'm missing out on, there's a World Cup going on, and I couldn't make the international team, while my old best friend Jalen Davis is proving to be one of the best young strikers in the entire world. Now the US national team needs work, but Jalen's individual performances land him an enormous move to Juventus to prove himself at a European club. While he's living the dream, I struggle with injuries and transfers. Am I ever gonna be able to catch back up to Jalen? Well, there's a long road ahead of me. We're in the Premier League now, and that means new signings. If I didn't have a spot nailed down last season, this one's gonna be even tougher. As we bring in some top talents, it's clear I've fallen down the pecking order, especially after that injury. I've gone from a promising super sub back to having almost no involvement as I find myself in the reserves. But it's clear the team is far from the finished product, with or without me, as we struggle to adapt to life in the top division. And as long as the team doesn't have it all figured out, that means there's a way for me to find a spot in this squad. I just need to prove my value, as we're hovering not far from the relegation spots. Anything would help right now. I need to find a way to improve, but what I learned last season is I can't simply just work harder physically because I'm injury prone. This time I have to be smarter. And I've noticed one thing this season. Leicester City does not have any kind of set piece specialist, and that's a role I think I could fulfill with my good technique. So I get to work in training, practicing my free kicks, and it's working pretty fast. It's clear this is a skill that I could pick up pretty easily. So as Leicester City continue to struggle in the league, I'm simply biding my time and knowing that once I get the chance, I'm gonna have all the tools I need to impress. In addition to the passing and shooting skills that got me here, I can now be considered a set piece specialist as I've added a third trick to my arsenal. Well, we're months into this season, but finally I make my first appearance as the coach is getting desperate for answers. I've been playing well in training, and now with only a minute remaining in the game, I have a single chance here from a corner kick to show what I can do. Has all the training worked this time around?
Mason Turner here to take the free kick, ball into the box, and it's a goal! Perfect delivery from Turner on his Premier League debut at Leicester City with a hugely important 3 points now.
An assist on my Premier League debut, and in the blink of an eye, I've earned the trust of the manager, who brings me off the bench again in our next match. Can I keep this up? Well, this time, it's a free kick.
Leicester City yet to convert a free kick this season, but it's a new face this time. Mason Turner to take it. Oh, what a goal! Absolutely magical from the young American. How about that for a first Premier League goal?
Well, performances like that are all it takes to fully win the trust of the manager, and all of a sudden, I'm actually getting consistent minutes in this team. And it's not just the free kicks, it's all of the skills I've worked so hard on in my career, passing and finishing. I've become a complete midfield attacking threat, and it's on full display here as I'm doing it in the best league in the world. Now, I've still got a ways to go if I want to nail down a starting spot going forwards, but this season's shown me I have what it takes to stay here and at least fight for a spot. This was far from the most glamorous season of my career, but I think I can really build on this and become an important player here. I just need a little boost, and that luck comes my way as on deadline day we lose a starting midfielder, and all of a sudden the manager has no other options. I am put into the starting 11. This is my chance, and I simply build on what I showed last season with an absolutely top-tier performance, showcasing all of the skills I've built over my career. Long passing, long shooting, and on top of all of that, the free kicks that I've shown I can be deadly with last season as I convert a second against West Ham. It's a complete performance, and I'm finally reaching my full potential. At this point, I'm a nailed-on starter for Leicester City, and in the span of 2 seasons, I've gone from a player that can hardly get any minutes to one of our most important players and one of the most promising young midfielders in the Premier League. I've become a dangerous attacking threat as Leicester City actually fight for a European spot now. But we still have some work to do if we want to become a top team, as we're humbled by Manchester City, but my talent is not going unnoticed even in these games. The clearest sign of where I stand is the fact that Pep Guardiola himself praises me after the game against Manchester City. It seems like everything is going perfectly. I cracked double-digit goals in the Premier League this season, and it's enough to get my first ever international call-up for this summer's Copa America. But I might have a tough road ahead of me because Bradley Burke has just been unveiled as the new USA manager. The last time I saw him, he didn't think I had what it took at Austin FC. Now, can I change his mind and show him I can play an important role for the national team? Well, before any of that, I have to address the elephant in the room. This is going to be the first time that I'm running into Jalen Davis since our falling out years ago. What's it gonna be like? Are we gonna be able to reignite our friendship and play together? Or is this gonna be an awkward reunion? Well, Jalen is walking straight over to me.
It's great to see you, bro. I just want to say I feel really bad about the last couple of years. I was so sad when you didn't come to New York, but that was selfish of me. I'm happy you're here and that we get to play together. I hope you can forgive me and we can be friends again. I missed you, man.
And suddenly, after years of not talking, we realized just how silly it all was. And on the pitch, it's like we never left off. The chemistry that we built over so many years is very much still alive. As we run the show here in training, it's clear the USA have a special partnership. But has this been enough to change the mind of a stubborn manager? Or will Jalen be starting up top alone? Well, despite a great season with Leicester, I start the tournament on the bench. It seems like the manager still doesn't trust me, but maybe he should, because the USA do not have a lot of creativity. We scrape by in our first game thanks to a Jalen goal, but in the second, we're not as lucky as even our star striker can't make the difference. And before we know it, our tournament could be over as we concede first in the third match. It looks like we might not be progressing to the knockout rounds. It took him a while to change his mind, but eventually Bradley Burke sees something has to change, and I am given a shot off the bench. It's my first ever national team appearance, but more importantly, it fulfills a lifelong dream that Jalen and I have had of playing together.
Let's go, Mason. We can still win this game. Let's do this together.
And coming off the best season of my career, I am full of confidence and immediately changed the tides of this game. But more importantly, it's the chemistry between Jalen and I that finally breathes some life into our attack, and it's enough to pull us back into the game. Jalen Davis has scored another goal, and this time he didn't have to do it alone. We finally go on to win the game and see ourselves through to the knockout rounds. And that big performance is all it took. I finally won over the manager, and he tells me I am going to be starting in the next match. And it's going to be against Canada. This is a big match because I'm coming up against a familiar face. Christian Frazier, the player who gave me some trouble back at Austin FC. And it's clear he hasn't forgiven me, as there's some rough challenges in midfield, but I stay calm and I know that I can get the better of him using my technique. I keep a cool head, and as I charge downfield, the space opens up again as I play through Jalen Davis, who's as composed as ever. USA take down Canada, and it comes at the cost of my rival. Christian Frazier's not going to forget that one, but we continue running through the competition as a close penalty shootout takes us all the way to the final. And now Jalen and I have the opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream of winning big together. This is the game we've waited our entire lives for. Can we win together? We go into the game feeling great as Jalen Davis, the star for the national team, dances through Argentina's entire team. This could be it. But then the unthinkable happens. Jalen Davis goes down injured, and suddenly the USA are without their best player and me without my best friend. And suddenly the partnership that was built and the confidence we had falls away as Argentina run through us for a dominant win in the final. What an unbelievably disappointing way for us to end the tournament. Jalen and I had finally reunited and things were looking up, but it ends with a whimper. And now, even worse, we're forced apart as we head back to our club teams. When am I going to see my best friend again? Well, if I ever want to play with Jalen, I have to improve because he's in the Champions League. Well, I'm just mid-table. So I go back to Leicester City with newfound motivation. I'm going to show this year once and for all, I have what it takes to be a top player.
Ball forward now, and it's a lovely pass in behind. It's a goal! A win on opening day for Leicester City, and a pair of assists for their emerging star, Mason Turner, who keeps up his form from Copa America.
Through on goal! That's fancy footwork to beat the keeper. And what a finish! Mason Turner opens his scoring for the season with an absolute beauty.
The play is on now. A shot, and it's a goal. Mason Turner adds yet another goal to his tally.
It's a ball over the top. That's lovely from Turner. And that's a great finish. Leicester City are still on track for a spot in European competition next year. And everything is going according to plan for the Foxes so far this season.
Well, it's working, and after a great start to the season, Leicester City realize I'm reaching another level and make me their new highest paid player. But the club aren't the only ones that see my growth. I get my first big sponsorship deal partnering with Adidas for an exclusive pair of USA-themed boots. I'm quickly becoming a superstar, and it's all fueled by the frustration from this summer's loss. I'm more determined than ever to show the world that I'm a top player, and I won't rest until I can win something with Leicester and prove once and for all that I have what it takes. But it's a long campaign. Can I actually keep this form up for a whole season?
Well, that is a sensational ball over the top from Mason Turner. And suddenly, the chance is on for Leicester. It's a goal! Leicester City win again, and it's all thanks to the brilliance of Mason Turner.
And a quick swivel from Mason Turner, who sends in a cross. It's a chance, and that is a fabulous goal.
But now, can he pick out the right pass? Well, he won't need to. It's a goal. He's absolutely unstoppable at the moment.
What's he got now? It's a Rabona cross into the box. That is outrageous. Another great showing for Mason Turner as Leicester City stay in the top 6.
He's only done it again. Leicester City are going to the FA Cup final after that goal. A special performance from a special player. Mason Turner is simply unstoppable at the moment.
It's been an incredible season, and it all comes down to this, an FA Cup final and a chance to win my first major trophy with Leicester City and prove once and for all I do have what it takes to be on a winning side as Leicester City come away victorious. We win the FA Cup, and for me it's a great sign that my stock is gonna rise even more. So now I have a huge decision to make. Do I stay at Leicester City and continue to try to build? Or is it time for a new challenge in search of trying to fulfill my true potential? Well, sometimes you get an offer that's simply too good to pass up. Pep Guardiola has just moved to PSG, and he wants me to join him in France. Now, the opportunity to play for a Champions League team for maybe the best manager in the world, it's impossible to turn down. I'm heading to PSG. What a massive opportunity. Now, I'm expecting to come here and learn a lot from the manager, but he has a different vision for me. Playing deeper into midfield, I'm starting, but it's a new position. Now, at first, I'm excited to try this new role out, but as the games go on, it's clear that sitting so deep in midfield isn't something that I enjoy. I'm a player who's always liked to score and assist, but 8 games into this season, and I have yet to do either. I don't like this new position at all. I left Leicester City, where I was the hero, to come to PSG and barely get noticed on the pitch. I have to find a way to stand out. So even though I know I'm supposed to stay further back, I see a chance, and I surge forwards looking for an opportunity to get my first assist. It's cut out, but unfortunately for me, running so far up the field means I'm way out of position, and the hole that's left in midfield causes us to concede a vital goal. I've just made a big mistake, and Pep Guardiola is not a manager who tolerates players not listening to instructions. I'm substituted off, and that may have just cost me my spot in this team. Well, suddenly, I find myself on the bench, and that means I'm gonna miss out in the Champions League quarterfinals against Barcelona. And I wish I was playing in this one because it's against my former manager Marcel Hoffmann, who's made the move to Barcelona, and he's looking to show the world that he can bring the same possession tactics that Pep Guardiola likes to employ against the manager himself. And it looks like it might be working, as Barcelona are probably the better side in the first leg, but it ends scoreless, and now Guardiola is going to be desperately searching for a better solution in the second leg. Now, I've had a disappointing season. After being on the bench the last few months, I know that I messed up, but this might not be the end for me, as Guardiola says I can still be an important player here, and he rolls the dice on me, starting me in the second leg against Barcelona and my former manager Marcel Hoffmann. Can I get the job done when the stakes are so high? Well, it's a penalty kick on the biggest stage in the world, the Champions League. Can I handle the pressure? Yes! I convert to score the biggest goal of my entire career! I'm given second life here at PSG, but unfortunately it came at the cost of Hoffmann. Hopefully that's not the last I see of my old manager. But it seems like maybe things are looking up for me. I've got my starting spot back, and maybe after a rough start in Paris, I have found my home in midfield. It's a different position than I'm used to, but I find an assist and I'm finally playing well for the first time ever here. But on the losing end of this game is my rival, Christian Fraser, who is still out for revenge on me. And an absolutely malicious challenge from behind leaves me on the floor. Fraser staying on the pitch, but unfortunately, I am not, as yet again I find myself injured, this time at the hands of my rival. So despite all the ups and downs this season, it ends on a sour note as I miss the entire end of our campaign. It's safe to say this is not the move I hoped it would be, as I have to watch on while PSG win the league and the League Cup. But even harder is watching on as PSG crash out of the Champions League, the big trophy that still eludes us all going into next season. And on top of that, it's a World Cup summer, and yet again I have to miss as my best friend Jalen Davis does it alone, still impressing on the international stage while I'm absent from the team. And a nice gesture from Jalen keeps me in everyone's mind, but it's my performances on the pitch that are missing as the USA fail to make it past Spain and crash out of the World Cup. I'm watching on feeling hopeless, and especially as Jalen's career continues to take off, he gets a huge move to Real Madrid. Well, I'm struggling after having made the move to Paris. If I ever want to catch up to my best friend and have a chance of playing together, I need to kick it into another gear and come back from this injury ready to help my team. So I feel the pressure. Even though I'm not 100% fit, I make sure I'm in the starting lineup for our first game. But then proves to be a huge mistake, as for the third time in my career, my hamstring goes, and this time it's worse than ever. I'm gonna be on the sidelines for the majority of the season, as I'm out for 6 months. It's safe to say my time here in Paris has not been great. Now the months go by as PSG remain in first in the league and are making a solid run in the Champions League. I'm just making my recovery in the background the whole time. But even when I come back, where am I going to fit into a side that's winning so much without me in it? Is my future here over? Well, 6 months later, I do make my return, but I'm not coming back as the same player. After 2 lengthy injuries, I have fallen off quite a bit, and I've lost my starting spot as, for the second year in a row, we take on Barcelona in the Champions League. I simply have to watch on as again we take on Marcel Hoffmann, who's looking to get the better of Pep this time around. He's built a really strong side and is proving to be one of the most promising managers in world football right now, but he still has something to learn, as going toe-to-toe with a possession-based system against Pep Guardiola is going to leave a lot of gaps, and PSG, for the second year in a row, take down Barcelona. But this time around, I had absolutely no role to play. I look like a lost figure. Is my future here over now? I can't do another season of this, so I hand in a transfer request. That means I'll be moving away this summer, and now I fully expect my season should be over. That is, until a problem hits the squad. Our main strikers just picked up an injury, and without a backup, Pep is left reaching for anything that can help, and right now that means completely scrapping the formation and surprisingly putting me into midfield, not only to play, but to play in my preferred position as an attacking midfielder. So now all of a sudden, I'm going to be starting in the Champions League semifinals. Maybe my story here at PSG isn't over just yet. And that proves to be true, because now that I'm playing in my preferred position, I'm allowed to truly excel, and I score a great goal that brings PSG to the Champions League final. I'm finally playing in my preferred position here. This is what I wanted all along, and even though long-term Pep doesn't see this as the role he wants me to play, it's a reminder to myself, this is where I want to be. And as we win Ligue 1, I'm finally on the pitch to be a part of it. This is what I wanted when I made the transfer here. And now only one thing remains this season, the Champions League final. But this is going to be different for me. As we take on Real Madrid, that means I'm coming up against my best friend, Jalen Davis. Now, we always hoped that we could be here together as kids, but the reality now is we're going to be on the pitch as rivals, and only one of us can come away a winner. Not a single word is said between us on the pitch. We both know what this means. We have to put aside our friendship for tonight. The game starts at a frenzied pace as Jalen Davis charges down the field and puts in a ball. That is the opening goal, and Real Madrid take the lead. Am I going to be in Jalen's shadow again tonight, just like I have for my whole career? Or can I find a way to get us back in this? Well, it's the perfect time, as I'm coming into form here late in the season, and playing in my preferred position opens up a lot of space, and I play through a ball. Surely this is in! PSG have pulled one back, and suddenly it's game on in this thrilling match. But this could go either way. Who is going to break the deadlock? Well, the minutes tick on as both Jalen and I are trying to be the hero for our teams. But so far, the defenses are holding firm, and you get the feeling that whoever scores next is going to win this game.
Not much is left now in extra time, but PSG have a corner. Maybe one more chance. Played up now, that's clever. Oh, and that's Turner free at the top of the box. It's a shot and a goal.
Oh, it's just sensational from the American. What a surge in form he had here late in the season. And that goal just secured Paris Saint-Germain's first ever Champions League win. What a player, and what a moment.
Well, I can't believe it. PSG have just won the Champions League for the first time, and I was at the heart of it with the winning goal. This should be the best moment of my life. But instead, I'm a little disappointed because it came at the cost of my best friend. I always hoped we'd win trophies like this together, but I did it on my own, and as we part ways again, surely this can't be how our story ends? Well, this summer, I'm gonna have the chance to move because despite a good end with PSG, the fact is next season, I'm just gonna be back as a deep-lying midfielder. I need to be allowed to express my creativity. So if there's ever a time to move to be with Jalen, this summer has to be it. So I reach out to Real Madrid to ask about a transfer. Maybe I can fulfill this lifelong dream of playing club football with my best friend. But I get shut down. Real Madrid are simply not interested, and that means I'm gonna have to look elsewhere. Jalen's got a long contract, so I can't expect him to move to be with me either. Where else can I go? I mean, my other top choice is Barcelona, where I could reunite with Marcel Hoffmann, but they don't have the money for my signing. That leaves both him and I frustrated. And now the reality sinks in. My next club isn't gonna be with my best friend or former manager. For the last stage of my career, it looks like I'm gonna have to learn to do it on my own. But the question is, who's willing to take the chance on me? Well, my best offer right now is from Chelsea FC, the club I supported as a kid. Now, they haven't won a trophy in over 10 seasons, so they spend big on me to try to bring proven winners to the club. Expectations are sky high. Can I live up to this hype and find a home here in London as a star player for an up-and-coming European team? Well, enough is enough. This has to be my season to prove myself as a top player. Well, I couldn't ask for a better start to the season. I fit right in here at Chelsea and score on my debut to get us off to a winning start. It looks like I finally might be taking the step up to being a real star player at a top team. But unfortunately, a lot of Chelsea's history is what's carrying the name these days. As we struggle for form, it's clear we're far from being a top side right now. As we're losing game after game, the pressure continues to mount. I've moved from a Champions League winning side to a team struggling to make the top 6 right now. And midway through the season, an embarrassing exit from the Champions League and a mid-table position means that's it for the manager. Rafael Sanchez has just been sacked, and suddenly my new club are thrown into chaos. And it just continues as we get a caretaker manager to come in. John Terry completely changes up this side, switching us to a more defensive formation, where again, I find myself playing in a deeper midfield role, the kind that I didn't want to be playing at PSG. And again, this move looks like it's not working out the way that I hoped. And although Chelsea's form does see a slight uptick, we're still far off of where we want to be, and me particularly not playing the role that I came here to. We finish in 6th place, but after such a bright start to this season, this is not the way I thought things were gonna pan out. I needed stability, and I'm not getting that here. What's next for my career? Well, I'm gonna get a breather this summer as I make my return to international football for another Copa America, and it's a great reunion with my best friend Jalen, and he makes it clear there's no hard feelings after that Champions League loss. Both of us have been frustrated at club level this season, so we're more motivated than ever to finally win something together this summer. And the tournament absolutely flies by us. Jalen and I pick up where we left off last tournament. The team's gotten even better, and as we cruise through the group stage and knockout rounds again, we are well on our way to having another chance at a Copa America. We take it all the way to the final, where this time we take on Brazil, and suddenly we have a chance at redemption. This game means so much to both Jalen and I. After losing last tournament, both of us have struggled as Real and Chelsea fail to succeed. We need a win here to lift our spirits and kickstart our careers. Can we do it, or are we destined for failure once again?
Game's still level now, both teams going for it. Can anyone be the hero? USA with the ball, Turner with the back heel, that's Davis in front of goal, and oh my lord, one away to win the Copa America. Jalen Davis walks the ball into the net as two best friends off the pitch combine for a goal on it. What a story as the United States win their first ever Copa America.
What a moment! Jalen and I did it together, winning a major trophy as best friends. It's the peak of our careers. But then reality hits. As we head back to our club teams, that win was great, but Jalen's returning to be the scapegoat for a Real Madrid side who haven't won trophies in his 2 seasons there, and me returning to Chelsea who don't even have a manager. Did we just pass up the best moment of our careers? Or is there a chance for some more exciting news? Well, there's a massive story brewing as Marcel Hoffmann wants out of Barcelona. He's trying to prove he could be the best manager in the world, but after being beaten to the Champions League 3 times by Pep Guardiola, he's had enough. And with Chelsea in desperate need of a manager, this seems like a match made in heaven. My old manager is coming to join me at Chelsea FC, and suddenly, things might be looking up for the Blues. I'll be playing for the manager that always could get the best of me, and now both of us are here at Chelsea trying to prove we can be the best player and manager in the entire world. And sure enough, Hoffman hits the ground running at Chelsea, using the same system he's had his entire career, perfecting this possession-based play, and more importantly, having me as the attacking midfielder with the creativity to really shine. I'm scoring, I'm assisting, and Chelsea are off to a great start as I'm one of the best players in the league right now. We're creating more chances than anyone in Hoffman's first season. Chelsea are on their way to becoming a top team now. But as we settle for a 4th place finish, our weakness is clear. We have the fewest goals scored out of the top 4 teams, despite creating the most chances. I have the season of a lifetime, cracking 20 goals. But for a team looking to elevate to the next level, we can't rely on a midfielder to be our top goal scorer. Chelsea need an elite striker, and suddenly, everything could come together. So I go to Hoffman and beg him to please bring in Jalen Davis. It feels like my whole career has built to this moment. We need a striker, and if I have the chance to play with my best friend, I think it can take our team to the very top. And Hoffman, like always, backs me and makes Jalen Davis his #1 target this summer. We're in for my best friend at any cost, but the question is, can we actually land his signing?
Breaking news, Chelsea have just broken their club record for the signature of Jalen Davis. And now, after a great season, Marcel Hoffman has the challenge of competing for real silverware this season. And with the American duo Turner and Davis playing together, expectations are sky high.
Our lifelong dream has come true as Jalen and I are playing for Chelsea. Is this going to be how we always hoped it would? Well, unfortunately, the reality of top-level football is that things change constantly. And even though we've added in Jalen Davis, Chelsea are not using him well. We look lost in our first 2 games. What's happened? This was supposed to be our season. Well, the answer becomes clear because Hoffman's been a one-trick pony most of his career, always relying on the same formation, and it's been figured out as teams have studied us and figured out all it takes to stop us is to sit deep. And just like that, all the chances we created last season go away. We're struggling big time, and the manager looks like he's been figured out. Our new signing, Jalen, hasn't even scored in his first 5 matches, and it's all falling apart. This is do or die for the manager, and finally, he realizes that to be the best, he also has to learn how to grow too. So for the first time, Hoffman decides to change the system, and in a desperate move to get the best of our new striker, he puts me up top as a second striker. Is this a sign of madness from a struggling manager? Or is this the sign of a real emerging genius? Well, it took a downfall in turn for him to figure something new out, but Marcel Hoffman seems to have cracked the code as Jalen and I get off to an amazing start with our partnership up top. Jalen scores his first 2 goals of the season, and it seems like that tweak may have been enough to get us up and running for the campaign. And Hoffman remains confident. Even though we had a slow start, he knows we can still go on to do big things this season. And all of a sudden, Jalen and I are truly living out the dream we always had together. Playing together at Chelsea and scoring goals week in and week out, it's clear we're the best partnership in world football right now, and Chelsea are doing well in all competitions. Hoffman had to learn a little bit, but now it seems like he's getting the best of us. And suddenly ambitions are high at Chelsea as we're making a push for the Premier League title, and we made it to the Carabao Cup final. Can we win our first trophy under Hoffman here at Chelsea this season? Well, the kind of form we've been in, even this final is barely a competition for us. Jalen and I are at the heart of everything. Marcel Hoffman's learned a lot as a manager this season, just like we have as players. We lift our first trophy under the manager here at Chelsea. The future is looking very bright for this club right now. But we're not the finished product. Teams like Barcelona, which Hoffman helped get into shape over the last 3 seasons, still get the edge over us as we crash out of the Champions League and fail to capitalize fully on our Premier League hopes. We finish in 2nd place, and we're getting there, but if we ever want to become a truly elite club, everybody, from Hoffman to Jalen and I, need to keep developing. How can I learn to take the next step up in my career and be a real leader for our club? Well, I just might get my break. It's a World Cup summer, and our usual captain, Christian Pulisic, is going to be out through injury, so our national team is in need of a new leader. And although manager Bradley Burke wasn't a huge fan of mine to start with, he's changed his mind, and now he thinks I have what it takes to lead our national team through a World Cup. This is the biggest responsibility I've had in my entire career. Do I have what it takes? Well, over the years, I've learned how to be a better player myself, but now this is the final step in my development, to learn to be a true leader and elevate the game of those around me. Well, with Jalen in the side, it's never going to be hard to connect with someone at least. As we take over our form from club football back to the national team, it's on another level now. But Jalen and I are making a case for being one of the best partnerships in the history of football, the rate that we're combining together.
Mason Turner with the vision. That's a lovely ball. Jalen Davis is clean through and he scores again as Team USA wins.
United States looking to make it 3 from 3 as Mason Turner shoots and scores. What a goal from the new captain.
United States knocked out of Spain in the last World Cup, but this time looking to change it as Jalen Davis scores yet another goal. The USA are going to their first ever World Cup final.
Well, Jalen and I have been on fire, dragging our team to a World Cup final where we'll take on France. And now my first ever experience captaining a side, I have a chance to win the biggest trophy of them all. But in the final, there's a big problem. Bradley Burke has always set us up defensively, and France know that. So they sit deep and give us a lot of the ball, and we look uncomfortable with it. And unlike Hoffman at Chelsea, Burke is a stubborn guy and refuses to change his tactics even as the game goes on scoreless for the opening 90 minutes. Bradley Burke doubles down and insists we keep doing more of the same. It's been an incredibly boring final, and Jalen and I are unable to do anything the way we're set up right now. Time is winding down. Can I be a leader and come up with a moment of magic to lead this team and win the game for us as captain? Well, I try my best, but it ends scoreless. And now we're gonna have to rely on the luck of a penalty shootout to determine a winner. I still have to lead as captain here. And I score my penalty and lead as much as I can. And of course, Jalen scores his too. But as France save our third kick, we're now at the mercy of our final kick of the shootout. A miss here will send us home. Could we save our hopes and come away with a World Cup win? Well, with everything on the line, the final kick is heartbreaking. The USA have lost a World Cup final after getting so close. But this summer, I learned something big, how to be a leader. The real problem was our management, as we lacked any flexibility. But I go back to Chelsea as a much better player, even showing up early for preseason, and Hoffman names me as our new captain, preparing the team to finally take the step up to the next level this season. We've got everything, a top striker, a new captain, and most importantly, a manager that's willing to adapt. Is this the season we finally put it all together? Well, Chelsea start with a bang. Coming off of that World Cup, Jalen and I bring our good form back to England, and we start undefeated in all competitions in our first 3 months this season.
It's going to be Mason Turner to take. Oh, and that is ice cold from Chelsea's captain. They're through to the knockout rounds already.
And not to get ahead of ourselves, but there's a distinct possibility we could be on track for a treble this season if this type of form keeps up. And the thing keeping us alive right now is Hoffman's flexibility. He's proactively switching up our formations, and it's getting the best of players like me who can fit a lot of different roles. Sometimes I'm up top, sometimes I'm deeper into midfield, but no matter what happens, I'm shining week in and week out. But as always, I get a reminder I can't outwork my physical limitations. And without any rest from the World Cup to the start of this season, I again pay the price, missing a few weeks with another hamstring injury. And with me out of the side, Chelsea look completely different. Our composure's gone, and our first loss of the season comes in the Carabao Cup final. We've just blown a big shot at silverware, and it's a reminder we need everybody in this team to be at our best. This ultimately isn't just about me, but myself, Jalen, and Hoffman all together. Without any of us in the team, we look significantly worse. So again, I push through to come back from injury and make sure I can be there to help my team in what could be the biggest season of all of our careers. because despite the loss in the Carabao Cup final, a treble is very much still on for us as we go through the Champions League knockout rounds. Chelsea have the chance to make history here. I've grown into the best midfielder in Europe right now, and this next game is going to be huge because we're taking on PSG for a spot in the Champions League final. Hoffman and I will finally get the chance to beat Pep Guardiola and prove once and for all we are the best in the world. And Hoffman shows his real tactical genius, deploying me on the wing and managing to outsmart Guardiola. Chelsea win in the semi-finals, and we're going to the Champions League final under Hoffman. This could be the season we all hoped for. In just 3 seasons, Hoffman has built arguably the best team in the world as Chelsea also make the FA Cup final. This season feels like destiny for myself, Jalen, and Hoffman. It's all coming together. But before either of our cup finals is the Premier League. If we win these next few games, we will be champions. So with everything on the line, we remain laser focused. I've taken a huge step up again this season, playing alongside Jalen and Hoffman. It's the perfect end as we win the Premier League. This is huge, but we don't even have time to stop. With 2 cup finals coming up, I have to keep this form up, and with 20 goals and assists, I have become truly undeniable.
Ladies and gentlemen, your player of the season, Mason Turner.
And that's become clear for all to see as I win the Premier League Player of the Season. All the hard work in my career from the early days back in high school until winning the Premier League now has led me to this moment. It's a massive honor, but my work here is not done. We've got 2 finals, the FA Cup first, followed by the Champions League. Everything in our careers comes down to these 2 matches. Can we win it all? Well, everything comes down to this. Jalen and I have matured to our full potential finally, and only these 2 games stand between us and the ultimate glory. And as I charge through midfield, Jalen and I combine to score yet again. It's looking like this game is going our way. We're well on our way to another trophy. But in order to be on the pitch this season, I've been playing through a lot of pain in the background. And although I can push through mentally, physically I can only tolerate so much. And once again, my hamstring is in a lot of pain. So with a treble on the line and the biggest moment of my career, I'm forced to come off injured. Is this how everything ends for me? Can Chelsea do it without me there? Well, just like we saw in the Carabao Cup final earlier this season, without our leader on the pitch, Chelsea look in shambles and we come dangerously close to blowing this final. And although we do hang on and it's a day full of celebration, there's a dark undertone knowing that I might not be fit going into the Champions League final. Chelsea are so close to winning it all. What happens now? Well, I'm faced with the toughest decision of my entire life. I'm hurt and facing 3 weeks out, but with the Champions League final in just 7 days, if I miss that game, it means Chelsea look likely to blow a treble. Do I recover properly, rest up and go again next season? Or risk it all to push through one final time? Well, I made the call. I'm gonna sacrifice myself with a chance to win it all rather than miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm gonna play through this injury one final time. This Champions League final is truly gonna be the biggest moment of my entire life. So here we go, a Champions League final with a chance at a treble alongside my best friend and my manager. It's clear the 3 of us are again gonna have to do it together. But I'm given a harsh reality check because I'm mentally ready, but this injury's hurting my mobility. I'm a step behind and I'm finding myself lost. I'm playing up top with Jalen, but I can't find any space, and without me involved, it means Chelsea also look lost. I can't get on the ball, and that means Jalen's not getting service. Well, it's been my worst performance of the season as Chelsea goes into the second half with the game scoreless. Is this gonna be another repeat of the World Cup final? Well, the difference here is I don't have to do it alone. We have the best manager in the world who's always gotten the best of me. Can he find the right tactics to help me shine despite this injury in the biggest game of our careers? Well, Hoffman makes a bold change in the second half, moving to a back 3 and dropping me into midfield. The idea is clear. If I can't run much because I'm injured, I can instead just sit behind the strikers and take my moments when they come, because we both know I'll be clinical when I get the chance. Well, the game drags on and not that much has changed yet, but just like Hoffman thought, there's gonna be moments as Chelsea managed to win a free kick in a dangerous area. I know that this is my moment. Maybe I can't run well with this injury, but physicality's never been my strong suit. And this is gonna be a test of pure technique now. It's all gonna come down to this. A treble on the line and a single free kick that could decide my entire career. Can I finish this match a hero?
Mason Turner lines up to take this. We've seen him hit these before, but can he do it in a Champions League final?
All eyes now on this free kick. Oh, that is magical! Mason Turner pulls a goal out of absolutely nothing. Surely Chelsea have won it now.
I can't believe it. It's the biggest moment in my career. All the hard work that I've put in to get here and take the chance that mattered. With only minutes left, surely we've won it now? However, at the highest level, you have to be prepared to fight until the very end, and AC Milan are certainly looking to do that as they scored equalizer with only seconds left. All of a sudden, it looks like our hopes of winning this game may have been crushed as we're taking it to extra time. Well, I think this is a sign. To win this game, I can't just do it alone. So far, I've been unable to find Jalen, but I know that the key to success is gonna be the chemistry that got us here in the first place. I have to set my best friend up to score the winning goal, but how? Well, that's where the manager comes in, and with one final tweak, Hoffman knows my legs are gone, so he drops me deeper into midfield with only one goal. Pick the ball up and play it to Jalen, just like we've done a million times before. But now with only 1 minute remaining in the game, everything comes down to a single moment. Jalen and I have to do it together. This is our destiny.
Only 1 minute remaining. Does either team have a winner in them now?
It's been quiet from Chelsea's front line, but it looks like Hoffman has tweaked the lineup again for these final minutes. But is it going to be too little, too late?
Well, it actually looks like it might be working now as Mason Turner cuts through midfield. Davis making the run ahead of him, and it's a ball over the top. Is this a chance for Chelsea? That is inch perfect, and he's in position. Jalen Davis looks to take it first time, and oh, that is sensational! What a goal for Chelsea to win the game!
Well, we've done it. Jalen and I just cemented ourselves in footballing history, combining as best friends to score the goal that secures Chelsea a massive treble. It's a beautiful moment as we lift the ultimate prize together once and for all. And alongside Marcel Hoffman, the manager that ultimately led us through it all, it's a great ending to not only the season, but to the shock of the world, to my career. I've ruined my hamstring playing through the pain, and I know I can't continue at this level, so I'm going out on top, retiring as the best player in the world. And after a career full of challenges, growth, and friendship, what is gonna come next? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see.